here. Thanks so much for agreeing to speak to us on the specific topic of women empowerment, right? And being the March 8th, the International Women's Day, we thought it is good to hear from you some insights about what real woman empowerment means and what is it that actually can be done better in terms of empowering women to become self-sustained.
Uh, so first of all, happy Women's Day to everyone who are viewers. Now, I somehow don't understand the concept of Women's Day. I'll explain myself. Now, Women's Day is something where suddenly people wake up and then they want to do everything on that one day for the woman in their life. So I don't quite understand that concept because women are a part of our life,
Yes.
on a daily basis.
Yes.
Correct. So what I think maybe a shift that is required in the way we celebrate Women's Day is that we should celebrate Women's Day like the year-end closing accounting.
Okay.
Nice. What have we done in the last 1 year for women?
Right.
And on that day, Women's Day, you share a report that we did this.
Like an audit.
Yeah. Then it will make more sense.
Brilliant.
Correct.
Great
So, in support of that, what I started doing is, 2017, I created this personal security program for women.
Great.
And I used to train, for the first 2-3 years. And then I realized that I only get a call in March or Feb last week for a training.
Okay.
And then I used to think to myself that something is not okay here. Are you telling me the crime is not happening on the other days? And it happens only during that time? But then, that's how the culture is, that, we've got into a thing that, no, only that day we will do something. So as a protest of that form of thinking, what I did is that I stopped doing trainings on Women's Day.
Okay.
So today I don't do any trainings around Women's Day for personal security and safety for women.
Okay.
Why? Because I want people to understand that it's a year-long, it's a existential crisis or situation, security and safety for women. And that is how it needs to be looked at.
Sure. What do you think are the challenges that you see, today that our women and young girls are facing? And what can we do to address them? Let's get to the brass tacks. What are these challenges?
I think one of the biggest challenges that I have seen, which has been passed on from the earlier generations, is that the need of a man next to a woman for her to be safe and secure. Correct. Now you look at even movies that used to, back in the days, unless and until the hero on the horse comes and saves the heroine, there is no scope for her to be, safe and secure.
Right.
So that needs to change. And I'll give you a possibly a humorous side to it. A message to all women, listening to this is that, you need to take control of your security and safety in your hands.
Right.
And the reason I say that is because your Prince Charming is stuck in a traffic jam. Correct. He can't reach you in time. And this is probably the story of every city, in India.
Yeah.
Correct.
Sure.
So with traffic jams, and if I'm not just talking about your Prince Charming, I'm also talking about cops.
Right.
They are also stuck in certain situations, and as on today, we're looking at a response time of around 10 to 15 minutes. Now, this 10 to 15 minutes is from the time of triggering that number, the 100 number. Okay, but what if you do not get a chance to trigger that number?
Correct.
You don't get help.
Yeah.
And that is the reason why I have been, trying to push women to take control of their own personal safety and security.
Brilliant.
Personal security is a personal responsibility. Take it personally and responsibly.
Fantastic. How can we do that?
By training themselves in the subject.
Okay.
They need to understand, they need to study security, they need to understand insecurity.
Mm.
Once they understand what security is, and once they understand that safety is different from security,
Mm.
now from 2012 December, when Nirbhaya happened, we've had numerous candle marches and agitations and whatnot around what topic? Women's safety. Okay. Now here's the challenge. Women's safety is a ghost.
Okay.
It does not exist. Okay. You look at a worker, a construction worker who's possibly standing on a high rise. He's working on a high rise. If that guy is standing on those trussels and all that, if he is not wearing a helmet, he's not wearing a reflective jacket, he's not wearing his jumpsuit, he's not wearing anti-slip gloves, he's not wearing anti-slip boots, he's not hooked himself with a harness.
Right.
Correct? If he doesn't have any of these things, do you think he's safe?
Not at all.
So which means what? You need tools to make you safe.
Right.
Safety is not something that will just appear out of thin air.
Correct.
It has to be created. Correct? Now that is what is security. Security is an architecture that is used where you are using tools, you are using tactics, and you are using personnel. Personnel is the guards, the security personnel. Now when these three people come together, that is when a secured place is created, in which you will have safety.
Okay. Right.
Without these, without tools, tactics and personnel, you cannot have safety. So when people go into these candle march and all that stuff and they say that where is women's safety, you're asking the wrong question in the first place. You should be asking where is women's security? Because then people can tell you where is women's security.
Right.
Then there are concrete measures that people will take to provide that security around women. Correct? Now, but this is as far as we're talking about public space.
Okay.
Now, what about private space? Now, Nirbhaya case that happened, that was one out of the 22,000 rapes that happened in 2012.
Okay.
That was not the only one. It was one out of the 22,000 rapes that happened that year. But how we singled out that one?
How?
Media. Exactly. That's where the media is playing the role. Okay, at that point of time they highlighted this case, but at least they would have shown the facts to people.
Right.
From 2012, so let's say 2019, when the Priyanka Reddy case happened in Hyderabad, the veterinary doctor.
Right.
I think close to around 185,000 rapes have happened. Who knows about this?
We don't hear about this.
We don't hear about it. Another reason, I'm kind of answering your question as to how women need to take ownership. Another thing that is hidden in all of these numbers is that according to NCRB, that's National Crime Record Bureau, strangers account for only 3% of rapists.
Oh.
I'm repeating myself. Strangers are only 3% of the rapists. More than 93% are family, friends, neighbors, colleagues.
Known
people, exactly. Now when you have these chunk of people who are right around your first circle of influence, basically, correct?
Yes.
So when the adversary is in your first circle of influence, how can you blame the police for what is happening to you? If you report to them, they will come and they will assist.
Right.
But you don't have time to report.
Yes.
Why? Because this person in your first circle knows exactly what your vulnerabilities are.
Right.
He knows exactly what your what your weak spots are, where he can attack you, or what are the places where he can isolate you. They know everything about you.
Right.
So the only way to counter such an adversary who's from your first circle is you learning security, safety, education. That is the only way.
Right.
And I think one phrase which I can say is that when you train hard, you never become a soft target.
Brilliant. Sure.
So if you don't train hard.
Another question I have, Sir, is that they say, science has proven that an average woman's biological capabilities, right, the variance in terms of her bone density or muscle mass or wingspan or stuff like that, it's a hindrance to her safety and security. And is it, first of all? And second, how can women overcome these weakness, in quotes, to become really lethal?
See, first of all, I think we need to understand certain benchmarks that women have achieved globally in terms of the security domain. Today, we not just have women battalions in many countries, including India. We have women pilots, fighter pilots. We have women sailors, and we also have a couple of, I think, women examples in the para regiment. Of course, they might not be in the combat, but they are with the para regiment. They go for those missions. They play a different role. But the mere fact that they are going with a para regiment into a covert mission or a surgical strike, I think speaks volumes about their capabilities.
Sure.
One. Second thing, we're talking about physical features. Now, initially when I was designing this program, the personal security program, the thought that came to me was, at that point of time, 2016, 2017, the famous narrative was that, women should go for self-defense classes. One rape case, one molestation somewhere in the news, and all these, self-defense guys are making a lot of money.
Right.
Okay. Now the challenge is not with their intent. They're basically teaching something good. The challenge is in the practical aspects of what they are teaching. That's where my challenge is. Now here there are two things. One is your the capability that you pick up from learning, and then you have the innate capability that is born with you. Now, women, when they are in labor, they go through 57 delts of pain, scientifically recorded.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't know this, but when I got to know it, blew my brains off. 57 delts is equal to 20 bones in your body breaking at the same time. Now, can you tell me one man who can endure this kind of pain? Not me. I can't. 20 bones breaking at the same time. Sorry, I can't. Correct? Maybe a Sylvester Stallone or Arnold, Schwarzenegger and all these guys, even they can't. So please understand, you have been blessed with resilience. But the challenge is when you use that resilience to become submissive. That's the problem.
Brilliant. Sure.
The world is telling you that, you can take so much of pain, so take this pain also. It doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
Correct? But it makes, people buy that narrative.
Yeah.
Correct? So that's the problem. Now my question is, when you have the capacity to take pain, why not take that capacity of enduring pain to build yourself stronger?
Sure.
You can lift, 10 kg dumbbells, 10 reps, do 20 reps. It will pain. It won't pain as much as your labor.
True.
Build your resilience using that, what God has given you.
Yeah.
Correct? So that is as far as your innate capability is concerned. Now about taking, learning capabilities. If I'm not wrong, I think Mossad, which is one of the feared intelligence agencies,
right.
Majority of Mossad is women. Yeah. Correct? If not majority, a very significant chunk of Mossad is women.
Okay.
Now, why?
Mm.
Because they are blessed with a sixth sense.
Mm.
As Jim Rohn says,
Mm.
a woman can identify a wolf under a sheepskin.
Mm.
That ability gives you the opportunity to create deterrence against crime.
Mm. Okay. How can they exercise this?
Now, I spoke about 93%.
Yeah.
Okay, your close circle.
Yes.
Now, the challenge, what is happening here is, it is practically not possible that the adversary in this close circle has not given a hint of his malicious intent.
Okay.
It is not possible that somebody is so good that they are able to mask their intent. They would have done something somewhere to give away their intent. But the challenge there has happened. What has happened is that the woman, because it is coming from a close person, they have they've gone into denial.
Okay.
So what the women do, and this I'm sharing first-hand experience of certain rape victims I've had the chance to speak to.
Sure.
And they have told me that nahi, he had this intent before, but I never took it seriously.
Okay.
Which means that your gut feeling is warning you.
Right.
You are blessed with that. God has given women that gut feeling, that radar.
Right.
But the challenge is when the signal is coming in, you are discounting the signal. And then you say, then you end up as a victim.
Right.
Correct? So you have everything you need to secure yourself. The only challenge is you are second guessing yourself.
Okay.
That's the problem. So what happens even in the recent Shraddha case, that happened, very, very brutal crime.
Right.
Now, even in that case, the few of the things that the news that I got from other sources, which is not mainstream, is that there were certain things that were happening between them that were a clear indication that he will get violent.
Okay.
He was getting violent.
Okay.
But at that point of time, she kept, telling herself that, maybe he'll get better. So what basically is happening is you have a criminal in front of you, okay? And you or I am fighting for him in my mind that, he's a good guy. Why? Because I have a problem in accepting that he's a bad guy and doing what I need to do.
Is this conditioning because of which it happens?
It is conditioning. It is conditioning because of our family setups.
Right.
The family is to be held responsible for women trying to think in this closed, fashion.
Okay. Right.
Not just women, even men. Correct? Because we learn from our family.
Families, yeah.
So if the family is giving men to think like this, why aren't women getting a chance to think like this? Why are women thinking like this?
Right.
Who's putting this?
Yeah.
This side blinds. Who's putting this? Somebody in the family.
Right.
Saying that, you're a girl, you should be doing this.
Correct.
You're a girl, you should be doing that.
Yeah. So what are those 2-3 things that you would advise women to do that self-care, self-containment, and build that self-confidence in themselves?
I think the first thing they need to start doing is they need to building their physical capabilities.
Sure.
Okay, now I don't mean do 100 push-ups. No, I don't mean that. Start today. Do how much ever you can. Okay, you can do 5, no problem. For the next 1 week, keep doing 5 every single day. Build a discipline into what you are doing.
Sure.
5 every single day. The next week, add 2 more. Do for another week. Next week, add 3 more. Do for another week. That is how you build yourself. While you are building yourself physically, invest your time, the mental time, because your mind is free. You're doing physical activity. So invest your mind in trying to recall all your interactions from your day.
Okay.
There was this guy who looked at me in a certain way. There was that guy who came too close to me, which was not required. Start replaying. See CCTV.
Okay.
Start replaying what has happened throughout the day. Now you will find instances which will alert you towards a certain person.
Right.
So the next time, let's say tomorrow you meet that same guy, okay, you just ask him, hey, yesterday you came, you did this. Why did you do that? Now that guy is taken aback.
Okay. Right.
Why? Because you confronted.
Yes.
Correct? Now let's say you give him a benefit of doubt. Maybe it was just a coincidence that whatever that happened. So don't be aggressive when you ask the question. Be in friendly manner. Correct? Ask that question. Hey, why did you do this yesterday? And then watch his body language. If that guy has a malicious intent, his body language will show you that he has a malicious intent. As simple as that. So these are small little tricks that you can do to build yourself. And I think another very important thing that women need to do is they need to start supporting other women. Okay, I don't know how this statement of mine will be taken, but I can prove it with facts that the biggest enemy of women is women. Show me one dowry case where the mother-in-law or sister-in-law is not involved.
Right.
You can't.
You can disprove this.
It's a fact.
Yeah.
So I think it's high time women start standing up for women.
Right.
And this is something that this is the end statement in all my trainings. A gender that is respected at home can never be disrespected outside.
Right.
If at home I am misbehaving with my wife in front of my son,
Yeah.
I am creating another male chauvinist in my family.
Right.
The same thing, it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
If my wife is being submissive in front of our daughter, she is creating another victim in the family. It's a double-edged sword.
True. Very true.
Okay, so where do rapists come from? From a family where the father could not respect the women in the house. Where is the victim coming from? From a family where the mother underwent or became submissive to abuse.
Right.
She didn't stand up.
Yeah.
Okay, so both of these come from family. They don't come from some different place. So it all starts from family.
Sure. Great. Thank you so much, Sierra, for these insights. I really hope our women, viewers, the audience actually resonate with this and start building in that resilience, start building in that physical strength to start with and start today, right? And it is like Sierra mentioned, let's audit our lives. Let's audit what we have done for ourselves in the entire year on this Women's Day and not make it one-off kind of a celebration in our organizations or in our lives. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And if you are looking for education in security, please remember us.
Absolutely. So we'll leave the link to sir's website and his email ID. Please do reach out to him to understand and learn from him, from the expert himself, how you can build your, the safety net, the security around you, and stand up for yourselves, right? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.